the way we work has shifted dramatically, hasn't it? And while every industry has felt the impact, perhaps nowhere has it been more pronounced than in pharmaceuticals. This is a field, after all, that's built on the twin foundations of precision and collaboration, making changes to how teams connect and produce work especially complex. Now, one of the biggest trends shaping this shift has been the rise of hybrid working models. These systems where employees split their time between remote and on-site work. At their best, they promise flexibility and focus. But let's face it, these aren't one-size-fits-all solutions. Industries like ours have their own unique challenges, like maintaining team cohesion while navigating very real regulatory and ethical constraints. Take global pharmaceutical companies, for instance. They've been doing some fascinating work in adapting to hybrid environments. One of their strategies that stands out is their proactive use of virtual collaboration hubs. Think digital platforms where interaction is as seamless as if you're all sitting around the same conference table. And these aren't your run-of-the-mill Zoom meetings. We're talking about purpose-built tools designed to foster innovation and keep everyone engaged, regardless of where they're working from. And this brings me to something I feel really strongly about. Moving from a traditional corporate setup into this hybrid way of working. I mean, it's not just about adopting new tools. It's about adopting a whole new mindset, right? For me personally, the shift taught me to focus less on where work happens and more on how outcomes are achieved. Honestly, it's been one of the most empowering lessons of my professional journey so far. But it's not always smooth sailing. Hybrid models bring their own set of challenges. Think misaligned schedules, uneven access to information, or even just the struggle to maintain that sense of connection within teams. Yet, what we're seeing, especially in companies that are approaching this thoughtfully, is that with the right frameworks in place, these challenges aren't just surmountable, they're opportunities for growth. So, when we look at the future of work in this industry, it's clear that flexibility is here to stay. But thriving in this new paradigm, well, that's going to require more than just policies. It's going to need cultural shifts, ongoing experimentation, and a willingness to keep learning. And that, I think, is where the real work lies. When we think about the role AI is playing in our industry, it's honestly quite profound. I mean, AI-driven tools like ChatGPT or these incredible medical digital twins they're developing are transforming not just what we do, but how we approach it. They're helping us work smarter, but also they're shifting the responsibilities we carry in our professional roles. Let's take ChatGPT as an example. A tool like that, when applied thoughtfully, can handle repetitive administrative tasks or even streamline data analysis. And that means we as professionals are being freed up to focus on, more creative or strategic work. This is where adaptability becomes key, right? It's less about resisting the change and more about learning to dance with it, to use these tools wisely without losing that essential human touch that's so central to healthcare. But of course, it's not just about technical skills, because the human connection element is still irreplaceable. For instance, empathy, emotional intelligence. These soft skills, if anything, are becoming even more essential. As more of our tasks get automated, we need to keep asking ourselves, what value do I bring that only a human can provide? I remember mentoring a young colleague who was grappling with this. They were anticipating that inevitable AI integration into their role and were worried about being replaced. But once we talked it through, they started to see AI as more of a collaborator than a competitor. And that shift in mindset it opened up their approach to solving problems. They began incorporating AI to support patient care planning while staying laser-focused on the human side of the equation, listening to patients, understanding their stories. I think that's the sweet spot, don't you? So really, the challenge isn't whether we can use these tools. It's whether we can maintain that balance between efficiency and empathy. Because even as AI steps in to handle volumes of data or optimize processes, healthcare will always, at its core, be about people, how we connect, how we care. And honestly, I think this balance is what defines the future of our careers in healthcare. As we step into 2025, one of the most critical things professionals in pharmaceuticals, or really any industry, can focus on is building a toolkit that's future ready. And when I say future ready, I'm talking about a blend of technical expertise and foundational soft skills that will help you adapt, no matter how the industry evolves. Let's start with cross-functional expertise. This is going beyond your primary skill set to understand adjacent fields. Kind of like learning the language of different departments. In pharmaceuticals, that might mean bridging the gap between clinical research and regulatory affairs, or understanding how data science feeds into patient outcomes. It's all about being versatile, being curious. And of course, we can't overlook emotional intelligence. It might sound like a buzzword, but it's crucial in an industry like ours, where collaboration and empathy are key. Whether you're managing a team, mentoring someone new, or just navigating the complexities of hybrid work, being able to connect on a human level is, honestly, an evergreen skill that technology can't replicate. Speaking of technology, digital literacy is non-negotiable at this point. And mastering the basics isn't enough. Go deeper into understanding how AI tools, data systems, and even simple productivity apps can change the way you work. But remember, it's not just about knowing the tools. It's about knowing when to apply them and when to rely on human intuition. Now, one area I feel truly optimistic about is how technology is helping advance diversity and inclusion efforts in our field. For example, companies are using virtual reality training modules to create more inclusive learning environments, putting employees into simulated scenarios that help them build empathy, or using data insights to identify and address inequities in hiring or career advancement. These might seem small, but they're steps toward a system that works better for everyone. For 2025, I'd encourage everyone listening to take a moment and ask yourself, what's one area where you can grow starting today? Is it seeking mentorship, prioritizing your mental health in this high-tech, high-pressure environment? Or maybe it's about committing to continuous learning, enrolling in that course you've been putting off, attending a conference, or even just reading more about how your role might evolve in the coming years. Ultimately, this mix of skills, technical, emotional, and reflective, is what will help you not just survive, but thrive in a workplace that's constantly changing. It's about being adaptable, yes, but it's also about being intentional in carving out a career path that resonates with who you are and where you want to go. And with that, I hope today's episode has given you some useful insights and practical tools to think about as we move into the year ahead. Remember, it's not about knowing everything. It's about staying curious, staying connected, and taking small steps toward your bigger goals. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I truly appreciate every one of you who tunes in and takes these ideas forward into your own journeys. Keep striving, keep growing, and I'll see you next time. Take care.